G'day, my name's Damian Murdoch from the bands The Ocean and the Damian Murdoch Trio, and today I'm here to tell you about a great amp from Australia, from Sherlock amplifiers, called the Fathead. I've been using a Fathead for close on 10 years, and in this video I'm going to show you the ins and outs about how it works and what it's capable of. The Fathead's 4 channels, it packs 100 watts of power, switchable to 50. It's got a built-in MIDI switching system, it's got a dual mode effects loop, and it's even got its own tube management system, which we'll get into a bit later. But let's check out the front panel and have a listen to how it sounds. So the 4 channels on the Fathead are called Clean, Edge, Rhythm, and Lead. Each of the 4 individually voiced channels have their own gain control and their own master volume over here. The top 2 channels, Clean and Edge, share their own EQ, bass, mid, and treble, and the bottom 2, Rhythm and Lead, share another EQ, also bass, mid, and treble. This feature I really like because it really gives you more control over your clean and your dirty sounds. Each channel also has its own 3-way EQ switch, which can be set flat, brighter, and brighter with a bit more gain. And all of the channels except the clean channel have a gain button as well if there's not already enough gain for you. This can get really full on. So let's have a listen. I've got the gain set on about 11 o'clock. The selector switch on my guitar is in the middle position. And let's start with the EQ toggle switch up in the brighter position. Now in the flat position in the middle. And now in the down position, which is the brighter with a bit more gain. The next channel on the amp is the Edge channel. And this channel is really very dynamic because it takes off from where the clean channel left us and it goes all the way from tweed blues sounds all the way to JCM 60s and 70s heavy lead tones. I really love this channel because you can set the gain higher and control everything from your guitar. So it's a very, very dynamic channel. So I've got the gain set at about 9 o'clock and then I'll set it with a bit more gain and then with the gain button. Up position, which is the bright position. I'll turn the gain up. And now with the gain button. Now I'll switch it down to the flat position. Again, I'll wind the gain back. Turn the gain up. And with the gain button turned on. And finally in the down position, which is brighter with a bit more gain. Turn the gain up. the gain button on. The third channel on the Fathead is called the rhythm channel. Like I said earlier, the rhythm and lead channels share their own EQ, so this is really cool if you want to dial in a different sound to your clean and edge channels. Here it is in the flat position. With more gain. And now with the gain button. Now let's do this in the up position, which is the bright position. So, the gain on 9 o'clock. And now with the gain button on again. And finally in the down position, which is the brighter and more gain position. So the final channel on the Fathead is the lead channel. Now it's very important to know that this channel can be cloned to sound exactly like the rhythm channel. This is really cool if you want to use the same sound, set it a little bit louder for a solo or something like that. So let's have a listen to it. This is in the flat position. And now with more gain. Now in the up position. And now with the gain button. Finally, let's set it to the down position, which is the most brutal setting on the amp. The final thing to mention about the rhythm and lead channel is that on the EQ that they share, there is a mid-scooped button. So here it is without the button engaged. With the mid-scoop button on. Now over here on the right side of the amp we have the master volumes. We have two master volumes, Master A and Master B. Down the bottom below them we have two presence controls. We have presence A and presence B. I did all the examples for this amp with presence A and it's at about 10 o'clock. This is more of the mid-rangey sounding presence. The presence B is more aggressive and more metal sounding. And next to each presence control you have a depth button. When engaged, these both add a lot of bottom end, which really tightens up the sound. So now let's talk about the Fathead's effects loop. It's got two modes, series and parallel mode, and is switchable from the front and programmable to your MIDI board. The parallel mode, your sound is blended with the effects inside the amp, uncompromising your tone. The series mode, your sound is blended within the effects unit. Everything in the Fathead is MIDI programmable with this button right here, the program button. With the Fathead's MIDI switching system, you can save up to 100 presets, and it's designed to work with any MIDI foot controller. Or you can use the Fathead's foot controller, which saves up to 10 presets. So the back of the Fathead, you've got a second input in the back, which is really cool. Next to that, we have the series and parallel switch for your effects loop, followed by the effects loop. You have your send, your return, and level for both of them. Next to that, we have the impedance switch, so you can run the amp at 4 ohms, 8 ohms, or 16. We have a slave output level. This is really cool because it allows you to go straight from the Fathead into a mixing desk, and it's also really good for recording as well. And on the far left side, we have the connection for the foot switch and a MIDI through connection for connecting to other MIDI devices. The final feature on the Fathead, which really sets it apart from other amplifiers, is its tube management system, where you can bias your tubes yourself. Over here you can see all 4 isolated tubes, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And up the top you have 2 green lights and a spot that you can put a screwdriver. The way you bias your tubes is by balancing these green lights with the screwdriver here. You do it for all 4 tubes and then you're ready to go. The other cool thing about the tube management system is that if you have a problem with the tube, it's isolated, switched off, and it won't harm your amp. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you'd like any more information about Sherlock amplifiers, check out the website below. My name's Damian Murdoch. Cheers.